Hello everyone, and welcome back. I haven't filmed anything for 2 days. The last 2 days it didn't even make it to 60 degrees. It was like 59 the one day and 58 the other day. Cloudy, some rain, a little bit of rain came through. Pretty much crappy days for August. And it's been really windy out too. Yesterday Jeff Ryan dropped off a smoked chicken, 2 smoked chicken leg quarters, and a rack of ribs. So I've got them reheating in the oven right now. Melissa's frying up some zucchini and some green beans. And that's what we're going to have for lunch. Tomorrow the wind is supposed to start to die down. And today it's supposed to get to 68. I think tomorrow it's going to get up to 73. Good morning everybody. Didn't film much yesterday, just pretty much lunch. I've actually been kind of under the weather the last couple days, just feel kind of yucky. Which sucks because I got a lot of stuff to do but just haven't had the ambition to do it. Yesterday we heated up all that stuff that Jeff Ryan brought us, but I'm cooking today. I'm going to do chicken thighs on the grill just because that wouldn't be enough food to keep us for most of the week, and usually we do our cooking on the weekends and then eat it most of the whole entire week. So I'm going to do chicken thighs, and Melissa is going to do a veggie bake with some zucchini out of the garden, some broccoli, and some cauliflower. It's nice to see the sun today, and it's going to be a little bit warmer. I decided to come out and pick blackberries tonight. Melissa's got a lot going on with, it's Sunday today and she leaves on Friday for Louisiana, and you know, she's got to work, so she's in there. She was just wiping down her luggage and stuff, and she usually always drives down, and she's flying this time, and she hates to fly. And I love to fly. I figure once you're up there, I mean, if the plane's going to crash, you're dead. What's there to worry about, you know? So she does not like flying. So she's a little nervous about that, but. So I'm just sitting out here picking berries, and on my phone I was listening to Gumbo 94.9 out of Houma, Louisiana. Country station down there. It's the only radio app I've got on my phone. I used to listen to that when I would sit under the carport. I had to go back and put some bug spray on because once you get in here there's mosquitoes. Otherwise they haven't been bad at all lately. But look at all the berries that aren't ripe yet. So I'm just coming in and picking these black ones, and we'll be picking on these for a couple more weeks for sure. And they kind of loosely start right here on this corner. There's where the fish house is. And they go all the way around here. Through there. Through here and all the way around this whole center section. You can see them in there, hopefully. And then from here, they go all the way around. They go in here. We didn't mow. Usually I mow in there, but the plants have come out so far. I didn't mow this year. I'll mow it this fall. And then all the way down here, past that pine tree over here to like the point over there. So all of this is blackberries. And some places have more than others, but like when I get in here, like there's not as many here, but there is some. And now they're even way back in there, like, see them down in there? Bunch down in there. So you never really get them all. You can go over an area and then go back and there'll be more. I feel much better this afternoon than I did the last 2 days and this morning. Took an ibuprofen around. It didn't help yesterday, but took one at, I don't know, 2, 3 o'clock or whatever, and it helped this time. With these blackberries, you know, like look at all the berries on this one. Well, then this one will die off next year, and these here that have come up this year will be the ones that will have the berries. And we should come out and tie these up. It would be much easier to harvest. But you got a lot of stuff going on in the spring, and you always talk about it when we're doing it in the fall. Maybe someday. Hide out in here until this rain shower stops. I hope these clouds blow over, because tonight is a really good chance at seeing both the northern lights and meteor shower, whatever one is going on right now. You can see right there that little yellow must have dropped down over us, because this must be behind a little bit, because this was at 550 and now it's 556. So it's not a real big one. If we looked at a zoomed out view, it doesn't look like there's a whole lot more around. Might clear up nice tonight. Well, it's taking longer than I thought, so I came inside here and wait for it to blow over. Well, the rain stopped here for a minute. Looks like there might be some more clouds coming. Look at all the, I don't know if you can see it, but how many mosquitoes. When it rains like that, they love that damp everything. Well, there's more in there, but that's all I'm doing tonight. You know, ever since I planted the garden this spring, we never really talked about the garden. So in this video, I knew I was going to have some cooking, knew I was going to be picking some berries, and I thought I might as well talk about the garden since a lot of the garden is getting done now. So we might as well go through what's in here. Yeah, I'm looking at like the carrots are all trying to go to seed. Some of them are anyway. I'm going to have to get those picked. It was a really weird year for the garden though, because of all the cold weather and the rain and rain and rain, that it is a different garden this year than usual. I mean, we've already harvested a lot of stuff, but it could have been a lot better if it wouldn't have been for that spring weather. Over in this corner, just like in the other corner, you guys can remember, it doesn't seem that long ago that I planted all of this wheat in here just as an experiment. And one thing with wheat, there's no way to get down in there and weed it. So, and this time of the year in the garden, the weeds are just weeds because everything is producing, you know, and I'm not going to go around and weed everything. I don't have time for that this year anyway. But yeah, you can see they're getting nice heads on them. It was a fun little experiment that has worked really well. Down here I have one of the cucumber plants. In fact, we come out here and picked all of the cucumbers off of this one this morning because we had like a cucumber salad with lunch today. And I've got several cucumber plants, and they're, you know, you eat them and then they get big, and they're starting to get big. This is one of our squash plants, actually 2 squash plants here, and we have been eating them. They're more of a yellow squash. The thing said yellow zucchini, but I think they're more of a yellow squash. And these have the variegated leaves like we had those last year. And the problem with these are when they get too big, unlike the regular zucchini, the outside gets hard. So yesterday she cooked some up, and the one of them, the outside was small, well, you could eat. It was soft. And the other one was bigger, and it was hard, and it was just, you couldn't chew through it. Over here, we've got a cucumber plant. There's just one little one right there. We've already picked some off of here. And I believe that this is, yeah, acorn squash. This one was a really slow one to start. There's another acorn squash here. I didn't really know what I didn't know if this was going to vine or not, but it's definitely a bush type. Because if it would have vined, I would have wanted it to go up this trellis. Over here we have one of our kale plants. And then remember when I planted this, I did the purple and the green cabbage. Just, you know, green, purple. And I've never grown this kind of cabbage. Look at the leaves on that. So it's pretty cool. It reminds me of dinosaur kale, which I grew years ago. I really like that. I mean, I liked how the plant looked. We don't really eat a lot of kale, but the plant looks good. Rabbits love it. The cows are going to love it. So yeah, this turned out pretty cool looking. I got carrots right here, and like you can see, this one here is going to seed. Oh yeah, these are kaleidoscope ones, so you get purple ones and white ones and orange ones. That one will probably be kind of woody because this one's going to seed. But then again, it was such a weird spring and so cold, it took a long time for them to, you know, really start growing. And then we have 2 rows of beans right here, which mirror over on the other side, except for this row closest to us here was the Bush Lake 274, which I've been having a real problem with the last like 4 or 5 years with them not germinating. This year they did really good, and they did a pretty good crop. There's still a few on there. The other ones were a burpee stringless green, and they didn't do very well. Not as well as I would have expected. I mean, we got about 5 gallons worth of beans this year, and usually, like when we did it in the bales, I had longer rows than 2, but we would get 15 to 20 gallons of beans. And Melissa's already got these all canned up and everything. So, and we have a ton of them from last year and the year before. So we have plenty of beans. Right here, I think the last video you saw me picking peas, and now I've left a bunch on here. Probably shouldn't have left as many as I did. Over here, I didn't pick any the second time because we want to save the seed. And we're going to have a lot of seed saved But she has enough for the 2 meals that she wanted to use. These are Iona peas, and they're a really small pea, and it's the type that they grow. And I know I've talked about it before if you guys have seen the videos. There's a certain kind of pea that they sell down in Louisiana that you can't get up here unless she has it shipped in, and the shipping is kind of expensive. And it's a Petipois. I don't know, the way they talk down there and the way the word looks isn't always the same, but I can't remember what she called them. But anyway, she looked it up and they were Iona peas, so we went ahead and bought Iona peas after she found, it took her a while to find the seeds, and we planted them and they've done real well. So these are just the little rows right here, this little 4-footer, and then that little one that I showed you that I didn't put a fence on. And then this right here is a 12-foot row, both sides of the fence. And these on this end I left for seeds to save. And once again, we've got a lot of them. I could actually come out here and pick some of these and blanch them and freeze them, and we'd still have enough. And I'll think about that, but this is going to be a super busy week, so I'm not sure if I'll get to that or not, or if I'm just going to save them for seed and we'll have a lot of seeds. Before we get to the corn here, we can look at this side of the garden, which is kind of the same. This is all cucumbers. Look how big they're getting there. Growing up here. We have more of the summer squash right here. I don't like the kind with the variegated leaves that much. I really don't. We grew them last year too, and they just aren't quite as good. This here is another cucumber. Picked a bunch of these the other day. Oh, there's a big one there I didn't see. Well, it looks like we got a nice one right there, a little pickle one. So yeah, there's another big one down there. You know how it is with cucumbers. Once you start, you can eat as many as you want and can't keep up with them. Unless you're canning pickles or something, and she is going to do something with that once she gets back from Louisiana. I can't remember what it is. I think she's going to ferment. I'm not real sure. This is just one from last year with the lanterns on it. Somebody always says what the name of it is. I've got a few of these that just came up from last year and I let them grow. Over here is the other side of the wheat. Doing real good. Another kale. And then my blue and green cabbage. This is what's left of the row of radishes. And we picked the radishes and Melissa cut them up, put them in the freeze dryer, and freeze dried them into radish chips. And then they just go in a Mylar bag and get down in the basement into these little plastic bins. So what I did is I'm leaving this to see if we can save the seed on them. I'm not sure. I really don't eat radishes too much. So, I didn't eat any radish this year. But we have them for if we need them or if we wanted to have some of the chips. They're not too bad. But yeah, you can see that they're starting to flower, and we'll see if we can collect the seed on these. And then over here, we've got the bean plants again. Both of these over here were the Burpee stringless green. And then we've got more of these growing up, the little lantern thingies. And this is the other double-sided row of peas. Most of these I've picked. I'm actually surprised at how many of them there are here. I'm gonna have a ice cream pail full of dried seeds, but at least we'll have them. And here we have our sweet corn. My first time growing it up here this far north. It seems to be doing really well. A lot of ears. This is starting to brown up. This was a 63-day corn. What kind was this? Early sun glow. Planted it on the 27th of May. So June, July, August, so it's 63 days once it pops up. We're right about the time when it should be getting ready to harvest. Some of it though has pretty small ears on it, and then again, like in here, not hardly any ears right there, but that was where the water would lay in there when it was such a wet, cold spring. So we will get some, and it's weird that if you look here, we've got 2 stalks, lighter green and way taller. So in with these packages of seeds was another kind of seed. Had the same thing with some of the beans. I always buy bush beans, I don't do pole beans. And we might do some pole beans next year, but and there was a couple of beans in there that were pole beans that started running. So I don't know what kind of corn that is, but this one in here is getting an ear on it. So it's going to be interesting because that's going to be a bigger ear, because that's definitely probably a 85 to 100 day corn. So if I can see if that will mature enough, and this one here too, we can see if we want next year to grow a longer corn. You know, a longer corn will get you bigger ears. You get a little bit more options than, you know, the 57 to 63 day, and you know, ours was 63. But yeah, the corn looks pretty good. Not sure how. Yeah, there's ears in here. Oh yeah, it's looking good. I would say that when Melissa gets back from Louisiana, it's going to be time to eat a lot of sweet corn. I actually think that some of this is going to be ready really soon. I haven't peeled one back yet, like this one here. I've been watching, and I want to peel it back to look and see what's in here, but I will give it. It's supposed to be a little warmer this week now. Last week was cold again. This week is supposed to be mid 70s, low. Actually, there was 2 days that one was 79 and one was 80. Corn loves heat, so, and it definitely has enough moisture. So then I can start testing this out and seeing what it looks like. And over here, we have a bunch of these rogue tomato plants. These are just ones that are left over from last year that came up, even after all the tilling I did and disking, and all of these are. So I just let them grow. When they're in a row, like even in the beans, there was a couple, and I just let them grow. And then we'll get something off of them. I believe over here, these are all the sweet 100s. Yeah, you can see down there. They're definitely the little ones, so, and I like the little cherry tomatoes. I eat more of them than anything else. And this here is just a big old weed that kind of resembles okra, but I didn't grow any okra in the garden last year, so I've just let it grow. Just to see what it turned out to be, because it's not in the way of anything, and a weird looking plant. I did look it up to see what it was, and I can't remember, but it's starting to get a flower on there, and yeah, we'll see what happens. Actually, I think when I looked it up, it's poison, so we can't eat anything on it, but it looks pretty. Over here in the side part of the future greenhouse, we have the onions, which I thought that the cats pulled them all out this spring, because I had a lot more planted in here. And then somebody mentioned about birds doing it, and then we have a lot of crows around here, so I'm thinking the crows pulled them out. Anyway, Melissa would come in here and push them back in, some of them. So we got a few onions. I was just done with them. You know, I measured them, perfect rows, perfect distance apart, and then they're all pulled up, and then I don't know, maybe it was just that day or that week, and it was like, I'm done. So anyway, we'll get some onions out of here. I got some reds or purples and some whites. I had a bunch of yellows in here too, and I'm not seeing any yellows. So I don't know if the birds like those better or what. Over here now is all the potatoes. I've got reds, I've got whites, and I've got purples, were they? I can't remember. And they grew really good. Everything's fine. I had a few potato beetles on here last week or the week before, and I had to put some 7 dust on there. I couldn't keep ahead of the weed part of it though. We're still going to get a lot of potatoes, but we're not going to get potatoes like, you know, we could have got. I just had, you guys have watched the videos, and there's just too much to do to keep up with all of this. This whole back part for the greenhouse, we're still going to put the plastic on this year and everything, but I could stay on top of the front part pretty good. And the potatoes I did at first, and then it was like, you know what, fend for yourself. I've got stuff to do. And now when it's getting really weedy, they're already starting to die back. Last week on my Facebook memories, it showed me back 9 years ago when I dug all the potatoes up, and today I had it on there where 10 years ago today I dug up all the potatoes. So the ones that are starting to look sickly, they could be dug up already. I don't think many of these are, I think these are purples up here. They seem to be a little bit different, but all the other ones are getting that sickly look like they're supposed to. So it won't be long and I'll be able to dig all of these up. So in this back part of the garden, which I hardly have ever even shown this year, things are doing pretty good. We've got cauliflower there, broccoli over there. Actually, we used some of that for today's veggie bake. More kale. This here is all Brussels sprouts, but you don't even really look at that until it starts snowing out or pretty close. Here I've got eggplant that are just flowering now. Everything is behind schedule, just because of how cold and wet everything was this spring. I've got a lot of pepper plants, and again, you can see that the weeds are coming in. You know, this is pigweed right here. Actually, very nutritional plant to eat. I've never seen it in my garden before. This year, there's been pigweed everywhere. So, and I used to run the tiller up and down here, but now it was like, whatever, it's just, this is the walking area. But we've got a lot of pepper plants. They are flowering. Last year at this time I was picking green peppers already and picking jalapenos and stuff. So once again, the cold, wet spring. My garden is doing a lot better than a lot of other people's gardens this year. Some people lost the whole thing. I'm just barely managing by, but we're definitely getting some results. Here you can see I've got another row of carrots on this side of the corn. Here. And over here. I didn't think they'd grow that good because I knew they were going to get shaded out by the corn, but they're doing not too bad. Show you guys one of these beautiful heads of cauliflower. That's a nice looking cauliflower there.
How far they follow me.
I know, as long as they don't eat the potatoes.
I can't imagine they'll eat the potatoes.
Another one of these tomato plants that just grew up from last year. Nice head of broccoli right there. Turkeys are probably eyeing that up. Come on, Beauty. Let's go look at the black-eyed Susans. Beauty, come on. Melissa and I have just been talking and we haven't seen any bees. And usually this time of year they're everywhere, and look at these flowers. There's not one bee on them.
Funny when they run. What are you doing? Huh?
And them ducks, now they feel left out.
Come on.
You two are kind of slow back there.
I think she's bigger than he is, or that one is bigger than that one.
Yeah.
It is. And he's the dominant.
Yeah, he likes to puff up. I haven't seen him puffing up today. Have you?
Not today, but yesterday he did. When Brandon came walked out there with me. She's my buddy.
That one is, that male?
This one.
Oh, the female? Yeah. So here we have that broccoli, and then over here I have another row of cabbage. And we're definitely going to try sauerkraut this year. Over here I have lemongrass. Never had a lemongrass that would grow very good, and this one just stuck it in the ground instead of a pot this year, and I think I can split that into two, and next year there would be 2 bunches of it, and it's pretty cool. And right here we have tomato plants. I think these are all Roma. These are store-bought here, and they're flowering, but they're not, there's no fruit on it yet. It's coming up. I guess there is a few right here. Definitely Romas. And over here now, these are ones that Melissa started, and the plants don't look as full, but they're getting tomatoes on it. And then again, I didn't get to weed very good on this end of the garden, but we do have some tomatoes. And then she has all kind of herbs. I can't remember what that one is. This one was cilantro and coriander, and I did not know that when it grows, the leaves are cilantro and the seeds are coriander. A few, I don't know what kind of pepper plants those were. Melissa planted all those plants. We had a horrible storm and it blew everything off of the glass table. A lot of the stuff fell out, and the little white things that went in there got blown out of it. I didn't know what they were. Some of them flooded out, a lot of them died, and it was really, for all the work she put into planting all those, it was kind of sad. Here she has, what is that? Mexican tarragon. I can't remember what that one is. She just told me chamomile, maybe? This here is Italian basil. I think basil. Let's see if I can see the ticket on here. I can't read it right now. Some kind of basil. More pepper plants that are flowering. She got some dill going over here, and there's some in the back corner of the garden too. These squash plants on the outside are going crazy. And right here we have our nice little pot plant. When we were getting the greenhouse, the lady had some planted, and they were moving to Pennsylvania, and it's legal to grow here in Minnesota now. This year is the first year you can grow it. I think each person, you can have like 4 plants, or maybe it's 4 plants per household. I don't smoke pot. Melissa doesn't smoke pot. Nobody smokes pot, but I don't eat radishes either, and we grow radishes. So she gave me a plant, and we stuck it in the ground here. And Melissa was just out here in the garden, and she's standing with her back to the plant. She goes, "Oh," she goes, "I smell a skunk." And it's this here, you get close to it. Totally awesome smelling skunk weed. So anyway, we're growing this up, and it'll be interesting to see what happens. The plants, they had to cut them down before at the house where the greenhouse was, right before they left to move out of state, because she couldn't take them with her. And they were as tall as me, and at least 4 times as wide as this. They were huge. So anyway, yeah, legal to grow. I mean, if it was 30 years ago, I smoked enough weed for all of you watching, you know? Saturday cartoons will never be the same. But I don't do it anymore. I couldn't get anything done when I was smoking it, so quit that a long time ago, but it sure is fun to grow. Pretty plant too. Smells awesome. Over here, the plant with the big leaves is running all over the place. That's pumpkin. And the thing is with this here, we'll probably have the poly on this before it gets too cold, so this will have a little bit longer growing. Because inside of there is our only watermelon plant, and it's kind of getting shaded out, but either it makes some or it doesn't. Actually, there was one in here. I just saw it the other day, and I don't know if this was probably the one, those little ones. I don't know. There it is, right here. And you see that down there? They're just the little ones. I want to grow those bigger ones, but I couldn't find any this year. And all these plants right here, they're just beautiful plants. Look at how nice and uniform they are. These are acorn squash. I don't like acorn squash, but my mom and dad love it. So I grow it for them every year, and it's hit or miss if they'll make it. Last year there was quite a few that did make it. It all depends on how late the fall is before it gets too cold, but they're definitely producing. Like you can see in this one, there's a little one right there, and then over here, let's see, there's one right there, another one going. So it all depends. Like last year they got a whole box of them, but there are some years when I get 1 or 2. But yeah, they sure look pretty. And then over here, not real sure what that one is. What is that one? That plant is kind of dying off. Buttercup. I did see some buttercup here. First of all, over here, this is spaghetti squash. I've never grown it before. Got one right down there. Over here I've got some. I think it has to turn yellow before it's ready. And it's growing up in through here, and they're hanging off the other side. So definitely going to get a lot of those. Oh yeah, and there's I think those are butternuts. I don't think I've ever tried those either, but they were there and I decided to grow them and see what happens. And down here, I never weeded anything down here. These are just a couple of extra of the cucumber plants that I didn't know what to do with them. And we get so many cucumbers, I just couldn't throw them away. And even these not being weeded are producing cucumbers. I don't think this little guy is. Is that it? Yeah, I don't see anything on that one, so he might be a loss, but everything else is doing good. Over here I can really smell the cilantro. So you get a cilantro smell here, skunkweed smell in there. What a great garden. Looks like the sky might clear up enough, so if there is northern lights tonight, we'll be able to see them. I mean, I see some clouds over there. Yeah, that's going to be awesome if we get to see them twice in 1 year. I got my one solar panel here, and this just charges one of the batteries down in the basement. Right now I just have it running the fan down there, or off fan, to keep all the air moving around, but otherwise, if the power goes out, it's charged up and we can plug stuff into it. Okay everyone, well thanks a lot for watching. I think I'm going to end this one now. I know it's shorter, but it just wasn't with me feeling under the weather this weekend, it just wasn't the same. And this week is going to be so busy because Melissa leaves on Friday. I got to drive her down to the airport, which is a 2.5 hour drive, and then she will go to Louisiana. She has people from corporate that are above her that are flying in on Wednesday up here at her work. So between that and then packing and everything, it's not going to be a usual week for me. The days are getting shorter. I need to start cutting wood. I'll see you guys on the next video.